Hello, hello. Hey, Sinistello, and hey, Free Africa. So we pretty much finished this goal. I do need to write some instructions for dark. Write some instructions for dark. Yeah, let me write this down. So we may not be using the final asset packs. I would probably aim to get things like if we're at 20% completion or 20% polish right now, I'd probably aim to do increments of no more than 20% at a time. Either like tackle a small part of the world to make it look good, or do a quick pass over the whole world. The structure of the world shouldn't really change. I don't want the platforming. Do you like to make assets or just outsource all? I am not an artist, so I like to make music, but I can't do any visual art, so that's all outsourced. No one wants to see my art anyway. I don't want the platform sections to be longer or more difficult. Dashing should never be required, even though we teach it. There can still be hidden things. Yeah, I guess we'll leave it at that. Okay. So what did we leave off at? Stop you from jumping or air dashing while falling. I don't want you to mess up the animation times. Yeah, we can go do that. Hey, T-Bot. And hey, Supercuber. You can save on budget by becoming an expert artist. Yeah, you could save up to $20,000, I think it was. Game design is art. Yeah, obviously, I mean visual art. I think that I'm a creative person, and I think when it comes to music, game design, sometimes maybe storytelling or comedy, but to a lesser extent. But yeah, I'm happy enough with these skills, and moderately happy with this. When it comes to visual arts, yeah, this is it's just never been a forte of mine. I don't plan on developing that skill. Imagine if you were doing a 3D game. Yeah, 3D modeling I think is a little different from like hand-drawn art. I still think you need a mind for visualizing something. But yeah, and hey, Pepper. Okay, so somewhere we have the platforming character and we want to stop you from jumping. I mean, we could just turn off your double jump, right? Has double jump and has aerial dash. Yeah, just set these things. We already have code. Yeah, we already have a decent amount of the platformer game, actually. Where did I put this? Where did I put this? I think it was over here where we like stop the player from doing a bunch of stuff. Yeah, started falling. Is falling equals true? Okay, so player dot remove jump and dash. We can just go generate this method. Has double jump. Nice. There we go. Okay, let's try this out. So I got to make sure that you cannot dash or jump after you've started falling. But you got to get to the end for that first. Whoop. Okay. So I try to do this. Yeah, nice. Stop. Okay, cool. Remember the code keyboard back in the day? What keyboard? Code keyboard. There's a website, but it doesn't actually load. I don't remember a code keyboard. Wait, this? This looks like just a keyboard. Hey, Pretzel, hey, human puppet. Yeah, I don't remember this at all. Wow. Oh. Okay, so this is done. Let's go check this in. Platformer game. Why did this change? It should have not changed, right? Prevent jumping and dashing while during the big fall. How many characters is this? 47? If I went over, test. No, it doesn't show anything. There's no way to know that I went over. Weird. Okay, add a mute button on controller until we have settings. It can even be from the settings menu. Toggle all audio. Yeah. Toggle audio. Toggle audio mute. No, that's fine. I don't mind people sharing stuff like that. And like I went and checked it out. I'm very interested in keyboards to begin with, as evidenced by this keyboard. Okay, so we have the toggle audio button, but it doesn't do anything yet. Let's go make it do something. For this one, we don't need to get... We don't need to do anything special, right? Yeah, we don't need to do anything special. We can just get it here. Button, toggle audio button. Toggle audio button pressed plus equal toggle audio. Private void toggle audio. Okay, so this is audio server dot bus mute 0 and then that. There is no get bus mute. Really? Is bus mute. Okay, it's not get bus mute. There we go. Okay, that should work. Let's try that out. Build himself. I think you did too. He's a fan of fingers not moving more than one button away. Yeah, I like it a lot. I also just like the look. I was looking at these keycaps yesterday. What was the website called? Let me see if I can find it. I can't find it. Yeah, it was, man, they were like super, super expensive keycaps. They looked really nice, but they were not worth the money. Like imagine getting 36 keycaps or maybe 42, I don't remember, like 42 keycaps for like $265. Now, whether or not you think in terms of US dollars, like that's a lot of money for keycaps. Not a keyboard. They literally are just surfaces that you put onto your keyboard. Whoa, Xyletics, 140 streams. Someone's got to share that with Ramy. All right, did I launch this? No, I didn't. I want to see if this is working. So now we should be able to mute the game by going into the menu. Yeah. And then you won't have any audio. Oh, this world's a lot easier to go through when you're just going left. All right, pretty good. And we can talk about back on. Yeah, nice. Yeah, you can't make it. You better not be able to make it. So should we start that on or off? I don't know. Let's see if it gets annoying. Add audio toggle to pause menu. I should probably amend that and say this is temporary. This is a temporary setting until we have volume sliders. There we go. Okay, flesh out the architect's world just a bit. You should start on the left side, but there should be some amount of level to it. Yeah, let's go take a look. So right now it's just a U shape with nothing really to it. Although actually, now that I think about it, the height of this world is probably going to be important with the animation that we have. I guess we should just build the world up here. Let me try something. What if I just create this? We click this and just make this go up even farther. I think you're going to be able to see this inside the world as you're falling, which would be a problem, which means we can't go above that point. I'm going to mute this. It's probably just going to appear in the middle of nowhere, right? Yeah, it did. Yeah, so we got to work downward from here. Yeah, so this can be the absolute top. The note to self, add more diamonds here, is a joke that I plan to leave in the game. It's not actually a note to myself. Okay, well, we can still... actually, how do we do this? Because this height is important, isn't it? I don't know. Write a note to yourself. They didn't write a note to yourself. This is a note to Dark, actually. It's not a note just to me. But yes, it is funny. All right, let's take everything we have here and move it down. Is this going to work? Yes. Was that on the outside? It was on the outside. Let's just put it here anyway. I know that this next props layer or whatever is messed up. That doesn't really matter. So you're going to fall down into this. We need this to be... Well, okay, wait. Before I do anything, let me just think about this. Well, how much do we actually need here? Couldn't this just be horizontal? With like some light jumping sections? I guess, but we should probably have a couple of screens. All right, fine. So I'm going to copy all of this. We're going to then delete all of that. I'm going to just put this lower down. Maybe like there. It's got to line up correctly though. There we go. Okay, then we go get these and draw a rectangle. There we go. Again, this does not need to look pretty, which is why it does not look pretty, because it doesn't need to. So at some point we'll have a bunch of vertical walls. I guess I don't need to add those in now. Let's expand the floor. Then I want to add in some platforms and stuff. So this stuff's up there right now. Let's move it down. Cool. Delete all of that. I guess this entire thing should go somewhere else too. Line tool is D. Yeah, there should be a door that you get to. I mean, maybe it can be like up here somewhere. Okay, so let's start to flesh this out a bit. You start next to... Well, you start really next to nothing. And the player node, player fall position needs to be down here. Oh, it was positioned just barely off of... Okay, I don't know. We're going to need to test that. I guess I should just put the player in here and we should see how they line up. This is what I did last time. Yeah, they'd be in a different animation. Hey, Magnus. All right, player fall position. So we need to align it with this. Copy. And paste. Cool. Now delete the player. And yeah, now we can start to fill out some of this. So how did they make this look when you had multiple? I see. They just put the platforms kind of willy-nilly. At least that's my description of it. So I want to take this and I want to build this up a little bit more. And we can just put this anywhere throughout this. Yeah. And there can be some more rocky areas and stuff. I don't really want to spend a ton of time doing this. I just want there to be enough that can eventually get us up to here. Yeah, then we need the other wall. And we can't let you keep going. So we need to like wall you in. You won't be able to see this. So we just need a bunch of platforms that'll get you over there. It actually shouldn't be that long. I don't know what this is going to feel like. Let's get some random rocks. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not doing this super creatively. We need to be able to just double jump. Remember, dashing doesn't actually matter here. But I think in the interest of having the player feel like they learned something in that first platforming section, I think the more you can use the dashes, the better. So there probably should be a lot of like small platforms you can jump to. Oh, this is in the props layer. It shouldn't be there. It should be in the first layer. So something like this, maybe over here. It shouldn't just be the same jump every time. Yeah, that, and then some more of this. Yeah, that's reasonable, right? Put one there and one up there. Okay, let's try that. So how do we get you there? We don't have an input function, do we? No. All right, override input. If input event just pressed, UI cancel. We don't need the by event. Then something about the architect. Yeah, there. Does this put us in the right spot? Let's try it. Yeah, nice. How does this feel? Oh, those are a lot closer together than I thought. Yeah, that's it. That's hardly any time, and that's in the wrong area, so you can't even land on this. There aren't going to be diamonds in this realm. Let's turn that off. Yeah, there aren't going to be diamonds in this realm. Because this is like the real world. You're not a video game player anymore. So we got to fix the collision over here. And I got to see how long this should take. Because if I just time myself like speed running over there. Yeah, it'd be like 5 seconds. I don't necessarily think that 5 seconds would be bad. But it does seem pretty brief. So collision fixed. And now maybe we make these jumps a little bit farther apart at least. Like that. Yeah, that might be better. We're going to need some like cheats to put us in different sections of the game. That was not good. Moving on from Skeleton, saw it launched. Yeah. Yeah, I got a couple of things here. There's a wrap-up document you might be interested in, and there is the new design that you might be interested in. All right. So let's take a look. Yeah, this is a little bit better. I think there should be some... God, I really should start with this muted. I think there should be some more lead up into this, so you get the spooky ambiance for a little bit longer. So maybe make this a little bit wider. But otherwise, yeah, I think the platforming is fine. You can't jump up to here, can you? You can. Well, maybe that's okay. I don't want people to be too punished for falling down. Can you jump up to this one? Yeah, you can. Even that's fine. Yeah, this is not intended to be a punishing section or anything. So I think we just extend this out a little bit more. But before we finish that, we need to test the music and realm timings, and then extend the realm horizontally. All right, for this we do need music running. Hey, Airs. Are these temporary assets? They might turn into permanent assets. I'm not sure. But yeah, new game. So the brief overview. There is more listed in this document, but wait, not that document. This document. This is called Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. So you are going through a bunch of different sub games, I'm calling them, and they all represent broken games in some way. And this very first game that you're in is this platformer game. This is not super broken until you get to a particular section. So if I just kind of put us down at the beginning of the world. Hey, TCAP. Thank you for the raid. I hope you had a good stream. I was just about to show off the beginning of this game. Let me give you a shout out. Welcome, Cupertino. There we go. And hey, Rusius. Hey, Slowphone. All right, so yeah, this is Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. You're gonna go from the title screen into this. Let me turn this down a bit for myself. Yeah, you're gonna go from the title screen to this. This is a platformer game, so you know, press A to jump. You can double jump, make it up here. The game eventually teaches you that you can press R to dash. So now you can dash in the air. I mean, you could already have done that. And you can actually dash and then double jump and dash again. I missed that jump. But now here's the Stuck in the Broken Tutorial part. You make it to this section, and it says, try to collect the diamonds in one go. So you try. And you fall through the world. And now you're in a much creepier place. Because this is not where you're supposed to be. And you navigate your way through this world. And you make it to a door, which leads to the architect. And I have not coded that yet. But when you reach the architect, they're going to be like, you don't belong here. And they will teleport you out. And you will be in a farming simulator. And you'll be in that farming simulator game for like, yeah, maybe 5 or 10 minutes or something. And then you'll get teleported to another game and so on and so forth. Is the game developer the villain? No. Architect from the Matrix, very similar to that. Hey, Nan. Hey, Supercrew. Hey, Psycode. Yeah, so that's the overview of this game. I'm very, very excited about this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And we've only been coding it since Monday, so that's why everything looks like placeholder stuff right now. But yeah. Are you part of the machine? You'll find out. Hey, Shade. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to make. I think it's going to be fun to play. I think it's going to be different enough from what people have already played. So I want to extend this out horizontally a little bit. Maybe like at least another screen entirely. I think that'd be good. Yeah, so now let's delete all of this. And then let's copy this bit. Why is that not working? Oh, I'm in a different layer. Oh, darn it. I keep doing that. Yeah, I keep messing this up. We need it to be over here. So I want this. I want it to be another like couple screens at least. Yeah, like there maybe. And then this can go upward from there. Good. This is good though. Yeah. Will you ever be in a dating sim? Not with the architect, no, but there might be a dating sim in the game. Play Frog Fractions 2 instead, yeah. I don't know if I played the entirety of that game or I just watched a YouTube video. Can't remember. So you actually can't collect all the gems in one jump, or is there a secret good ending? So, okay, I don't want to reveal like all the jokes, but when you go through the entire game, you'll unlock New Game Plus, And the only thing different about it is that when you make it to this jump, it will now be possible in a funny way. And then you'll get to New Game plus plus, and it'll be possible in a different funny way, and so on and so forth until you're on New Game like plus 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 plus. And there's like whatever, a fighter jet just like takes you across the path. And in each of those times, you just get to the end, and it's like, oh yeah, you beat the game. That was it. The Sim was a good game. Date and Make Babies. Which Sim? TCAP's not making a Sim game over there, right? He hasn't pivoted from tower defense. Walk in, they're sitting at the table, staring wistfully into the medium distance. Is it the Adam sprite from Skeleseller? You have to romance the Adam character. That is not something I want to encourage. That would be quite the pivot. Okay, let's move this. So I want this to be over here now. I think the same height is probably fine. So yeah, there we go. And then take the prop door and put this here. And then delete all this stuff. And we just need enough of the world to make us get over to that section. So maybe we have you get elevated up to here. Yeah, that's probably good. Like there. And then we can slowly drop you down. Yeah. Let's see what that looks like in the game. It might be invisible. I'm not sure. Oh, The Sims. Oh, okay, okay. I thought you were referring to a specific game. Yeah, I really like The Sims. Oh, you can change your facing direction, can't you? Also, something just went wrong there. What was that? Oh, that's probably not important. Okay, let's maximize this for a bit. Oh, right. We can't dash. We need to make sure you can do this just with double jumping. If you happen to dash, that's fine, but this is not supposed to be a like intense dexterity game. So as long as you can see where the next jump is and make it there pretty easily. Here you can't really see it. We need to elevate it by one tile. It's that one, right? Yeah. So we put it there and then delete the bottom tile. There we go. Now you should be able to see it. I mean, I'm blocking it with my chair. I put this over here. You can see it now. It's not super obvious. We should probably move it to the left a little bit too. There we go. Now it should be more apparent. Did I not do that? No, I did do that. Why am I not seeing it here? Huh, strange. Hey, Half. Wrong one. Was that the wrong one? It's got to be the one just after this. Yeah, I'm just to the right of that tower. And then the next one is this. Whoa, yeah, you're right that it was wrong. Whoops. Okay, this whole thing should be raised up. And then one to the left. There we go. Now you should be able to see it, right? Yeah, there. Now you can see it. Although now you can make it with a single jump. Because if we want you to double jump to something, we need to have it zoom out. So where's the next bit? It's over there. Okay. So we'll put this one also in visible range here. Maybe like there. How many tiles can that be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we'll just put it there. It doesn't need to be a crazy jump. But you have to be able to see the next one, so I guess we'll do that. Okay, how's that? Yep, you can see it. And from there, you can see this. All right, so not very difficult platforming. If you do fall down, maybe we should have some way for you to kind of get back up. Or like mostly get back up. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to be punishing here. This is not intended to be that kind of game. So let's go get this. And I want to put this like close enough to where you could maybe double jump up to this one, which means I probably should have started this to the left. Yeah, here. All right, I want this to be off screen when you're on the platform, but allow you to get back up here. That's perfect. Yeah, we did it. Okay. So now if you do accidentally fall down, instead of having you go all the way back, because that would be tedious, you can go to this little watchtower thing and just jump up to here and make it into the architect's chamber. Thinking of recovery and level design is a big part, I feel, that sometimes gets overlooked. Yeah. And if it were supposed to be a punishing game, like, what was it called? Getting over it? Or get over it? Getting over it. Yeah. This is intended to be punishing. So they don't really need to think too much about, like, well, what if the player loses 6 seconds of progress? Like, that's the game. But yeah, not this game. Get Tropical Banana Man. Okay, so happy with this. We get you to this point. There's a wall here that you can't move past, and there should be no way to get beyond the wall on the other side either. Yeah, I doubt there is, because this wall goes up pretty high. More like 6 hours. ABC, yeah, it's probably pretty crazy. Will there be a visual theme for architect-related areas or doors, like a glitch or gradient effect? So there's a decent amount of story that I've kind of glossed over here. You're in the like real world right now, so this is not a video game. So there won't be any sort of like, there won't be any glitchy stuff or diamonds or something for you to collect in this world. And there was some other part of this. Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty gloomy. I don't know if I had the music turned off, but if I turn it back on, you go from this like upbeat platformer over here. You hear this music come in. Oh, that's still broken if you're facing right. Yeah, so this music is meant to fit with the theme of the world. This is going to be this like cave theme that we have, which is, it'll look like this when it's done. I'm just not filling in all the extra details. Is your character going to look roughly the same then between each game and genre? There's going to be some visual identifier for your character. So one of the things that Quickie Joe mocked up, let me see if I can find this really fast. He mocked up the character with a hat, for example. So this is not how she is drawn in the asset pack, but this is what Quickie Joe added pretty quickly. So here is a little aesthetic touch that you could put on almost any sprite in any game. And then as long as you have like this same cap, then you'll be like, oh, that's my character. Or same thing with the colors, like the blue shirt and gold stripes or the red boots or something. Like we could use any of those distinguishing features. So yeah, we got to figure out what that's going to look like. But the game you're going to get teleported into after this is going to be a farming simulator. And I already bought the graphics for that. Those are, where is it? Generic farming game. Yeah, here. It's this one that I purchased. So it's going to be very colorful and lively. And your character could have that same cap. And you'd be like, oh, that's me. You can make it look specifically look like it's a testing stage where the architect was trying stuff out. But it is their real world. The games would be their testing stage. And there will be plenty of those, I think. There's so many ways you can break conventions, like loading bars that suddenly change. Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff. We planned some of the different game ideas. Like, okay, this farming game. First of all, this is meant to be kind of a comedy game. So a lot of what we do can just be funny and not necessarily have an impact on the game. So as an example, in a lot of farming games, you can dig parts of the grass and it turns into just dirt that you can then till. But I want the shovel in this game to dig any tile. So like you could have a truck on this terrain and you can just dig a path through it and then plant crops in the truck. It's a pretty minor joke. It's not meant to be like super funny or anything, but it's also not hard to code. But the farming game is going to be, you will get accosted by this tutorial man and he's going to be like, oh, hey, your grandpa just gave you this farm. Like you should try planting 3 crops, and you're going to plant some crops that as a player, that's your only, like, you need to do this to move on mechanic, but you could explore this world a little bit. But yeah, you plant 3 crops and you go back to bed, and that night you dream of a combination of this game and the game I just showed you. So now, instead of just like platforms and diamonds, the platforms are made out of carrots and the diamonds are, I don't know what, like rakes or something like that. And you get to this section and now there's a bridge over this and you need to destroy the bridge with your pickaxe that you got in the farming game to fall through the world again to make it back to the architect and be like, what is going on, dude? The architect's actually a woman, so probably wouldn't say what's going on, dude. But yeah, so that's kind of the progression through the game. And then there are going to be a lot of things that just sort of break expectations. I've planned out some of the games that are going to be in here. Going to be pretty cool. Where's the Pokeball? Yeah, this did remind me of Ash Ketchum. I actually looked at Ash Ketchum to see if it was similar in terms of the cap. And it's a red cap with a white brim. This is a blue and white cap with a red brim. But I guess the three colors are close enough to what Ash is wearing that it does remind you of Ash Ketchum. So I don't know, maybe we change the color of the cap or something. But the style of the cap is totally different. Wait, no, this is a red brim. Hold on a second. This is some new Ash Ketchum. Okay, my bad. When I looked at this again, I was looking at a different one, I guess. It does look kind of similar. All right, well, we can change that. So like a straw hat? No. A straw hat would have to be a straw hat in every game for you to know that it's your character. So there's got to be some distinguishing characteristic that transcends the games that you're playing. So at some point, you'll probably be a tank or a jet or something, and you should still have like stripes down the vehicle to know that it's you. Or the jet is wearing a hat. Could be that too. All right, so music and realm timings are fine. Extend the realm horizontally, fine. Flesh out the world a bit. You should start on the left side. There should still be some amount of level. Yeah, and then there's a bug with facing right after landing. You very distinctly pop into a different position. Yeah, how do we fix that? Where's the character? Here they are. So if I turn this off and we go into this and we have you face the other direction. I see. This might be a challenge because this is not centered. And part of the reason why it's not centered is because you get up after that. Or maybe it's because of whatever graphics came before that I just never used. Yeah, that's why. Because of these graphics. I didn't use any of those, though. What do we do? Because I set these offsets such that when you're facing left, they work. We could just set it through code, I guess. But yeah, if I flip this and then you get up, yeah, you appear like that. Whereas if it's not flipped and you get up, then it's totally fine, right? Yeah, you get up into this hitbox that you have. All right. Yeah, that's a problem. I guess we could just change the offset. Other way. Yeah, instead of -15, we set it to... Where'd that thing go here? Yeah, instead of -15, we set it to something else. Like 4. That'd be really weird to do, though. It would work. Leave it as a known issue. Well, this character is very likely final. Because I already bought that. And what we're working toward for like a demo for this, just to see if this is actually like testing well, are these 4 things. So we're kind of done with the first platformer. We're working on the architect's realm. It's like almost done. There's not too much more to do because the dialogue is very minimal in the demo, at least. Then the generic farming game is like a whole new game we got to work on. And then in the mashup game, I'm not sure how hard that'll be. Hopefully it's just changing some assets and not changing any mechanics other than the pickaxe part, which we might need a graphic for. Or maybe you use the attack that you have. I should think about that. Hmm. I mean, it could just have a facing left and a facing right version of this. That could also work. And then we could just change into the correct graphic depending on which direction you're facing. Alternatively, regardless of which direction you were facing, we just have you face left. Yeah, that's the easiest. Let's just do that. Problem solved. Set animation to large fall. All right, so somewhere here we have a facing left. Yeah. Facing left equals true. Okay, so force the character to face left because the animation offsets only allow facing left for this. Well, the animation offsets were set up only for that direction. Okay, good. Let's try it. Yeah, that looks great. So this is the extended area, right? You should be able to make it over here. Yeah, nice. And if you were to fall, you just go back to here. Oh, wait, can you get there just by double jumping? Yes, and yes. Yeah, again, I got to make sure that there's nothing that requires dash jumping. And we are fine. Nothing really can require because of the camera level, the zoom, I mean. Like, you just can't see that far away. If you could, then we could make it so that you could see where you're going. And you could actually skip platforms. Yeah. Speedrunners are going to love that. Okay, so that's done. Now the door thing, I want to use that. You should probably just have to move to where the door is and it'll just automatically enter this rather than you having to press up. Because there's nothing else for you to see in this world. In a lot of games, you make the player press up because there might have been some other objective that you don't want them to skip. But there is no objective here. Let's check in what I've done so far. Yeah, we expanded the realm. This is a different commit. This is not really needed. And this isn't needed. So that's it. It was just the realm being expanded. Expand the architect's realm. It should be long enough that you can appreciate the spooky music, but not so long that you get bored. Are you going to be adding challenging points, or is it solely story and comedy focused? I'm not totally sure where we're going to go in terms of challenge. Toward the end of the game, I think we could add more challenging games. But up until then, I want to be careful about what the game demands of the player. And as an example, this farming game is actually going to be somewhat well fleshed out. It's just, you can skip the whole thing if you want to. So it's not a challenge, but like you could stick around and like customize your farm and cut down trees and stuff. Like I do want to code a lot of that, but there won't be a reason to do any of that. And I think that's part of the comedy of this game is like, there's a whole game in the farming game. You could just ignore it. Like, why would I have spent multiple weeks on a 5-minute experience? And that's the joke. So my time is worthless. Hilarious joke. Okay, so force player to face left after falling. The animation offsets. The animation just can't easily be flipped right now. Those could be achievements. I want to be really careful with achievements because I think people get mad when achievements require you to do more than what they want to do. And I don't want that to be the case. I want achievements to be fun for people. Also, totally not banned. I did accept your friend request on Discord, so you can send a message if you haven't already. For launch, you should set up a poll for which minigame will have the most, should be its own game, comments, requests, demands. Yeah. Yeah. I probably should. Okay. So now the door entering thing, that is ladder climb start. Let's just open all these for a second. So this has the character turning to the side and then going like up a ladder. Now, granted, we're not going to probably use this because you're not actually going to go up the ladder. And then for actually climbing the ladder, this shows her feet rising. We don't want that. So I think we can only use the first 2 frames of this because we're not going to have ladders in the game. Ladder climb end. Ladder loop. FX. Oh, wow. And merged. And slide end. Interesting. So when she's sliding down the ladder, it's pretty neat. Okay, yeah, I can try to take a look later. Totally not bad. Doubles as a dance animation. All right, so we're just going to use this. So let's copy paste the whole folder in. So we have the same structure. And delete all of this. And then call it door entering animation, I guess. Should also make them fade out. So we go over to here, stop this, go to animation player, new, enter door. Sounds good. All right, so ladder 3 by 1. So how long should this take? Maybe like 0.15? I don't know. Which would mean that this would be 0.3 because we're only going to use 2 frames. And then we're going to fade out, which maybe means it's like 0.5 or something. Let's try that. Now let's add in all these other things. Offset, H frames, V frames, texture, frame. And then we want to fade them out. Actually, we could do the fade out. Alongside this. Because you got to appear in the architect's room at that point. Which is actually potentially a whole other world, right? You're not in a platformer anymore. Did I think about that? I don't think I thought about that. The interior was supposed to look like an office pretty much. But yeah, the sprites are totally different. You wouldn't be in a platformer. We need to redraw that character. Hold on a second. Does this impact the lore that I came up with? Like, this is supposed to be, you know, quote unquote, the real world, not the world that you and I live in, but like, as far as the architect is concerned, it's the world from which they create games. So if you go from a cave setting into an office setting, I guess maybe it's just so dimly lit at first that you can't tell. Maybe you don't even see what's in this room. I didn't think about that. Like, all this stuff could kind of be off screen. You go into this room, it's dark, the screen fades to black. There's text that you see that says like you shouldn't be here because your character would hear that. And then you hear some like spell effect and all of a sudden you're teleported out and you wake up and you're in a farming game. It could work. Maybe this is where we use the fade to black effect. We just show the dialogue and play some sounds to indicate that you were like warped out of here. Or maybe it's very dimly lit. I'm picturing the mage from Skeleseller. Like that graphic being what the architect looks like. They're hidden behind a cloak. So you can't really see their face. In fact, actually, I kind of wonder, could we just use the mage graphic that we have and put them into this world? They wouldn't fit aesthetically, but there is going to be a lot of combination of assets. I already bought this. I can just try it out. Yeah, maybe we just try it out. Maybe we try putting the Skeletal Mage into the office environment just to see what it looks like. They do look very magey though. I don't think they should be magey. I think they should be like more tech-y kind of. I'm not sure. All right, where did I leave off though? It was the ladder thing. Yeah, I didn't actually figure out what I wanted to do with the modulate here. We could just add a property and we could set the modulate of the player or even just of their sprite. So insert a key where it's fully opaque and insert a key where it is fully transparent. And that's it. So this animation now will go like that. Yeah. That's not too bad. We could move this a little bit too. Yeah, that's not bad. You arrive in a dark storage closet and you open the door to the office. The only thing that doesn't like super make sense is that you're coming from this, like a cave environment. I wanted this to be a dark and gloomy area, and I want this to sort of be almost a manifestation of the architect's state of mind. And this isn't like super grim, but it's not a happy looking place. All right. Well, anyway, let's try this out. So now let's go into the animation tree and we'll add another state here. Actually, the state just stands alone. Where is it? Enter door. So once this is done playing, we could enter the idle state, but that's it. That's just going to be the end of the game. So yeah, I guess that's it. Enter door. What's the other one called? Large fall landing? Large fall landing. Here it is. This should be its own function. Private void set or like force animation tree state. What is this? It's a string name. Node, to node. There we go. Can I have missing blocks or perhaps blocks from where you came as if he was lazy and hadn't replaced or updated it? That way you know where you came from and it feels like you're stepping into a new half-baked idea. So remember, this is like the real world that it represents. So the architect didn't create this world exactly. If there were missing blocks, it would feel like it's a game. You will always enter as your game sprite though. So if you were a player, you'll enter as a player. If you were a tank, you'll enter as a tank. Oh, wait a second though. If you're entering as a player, that means we need your sprite to stay the way it is right now, right? Yeah, which means we do need a way for you to get back to the idle state. But I guess we can just force that too. Okay, let's call this over here. Travel to large fall landing. Good. And then I want the player upon entering this to enter some kind of like enter door. Yeah. And I guess we do need to know when that's done. Maybe let's just add this at the beginning. So if it's entered door, then we transition scenes when it's done. How should I kind of fake this for right now? Maybe let's just play a sound. Audio system, play sound. I don't even have that many sounds. So let's just play the diamond sound. Yeah, there. So that'll signal to us that we should be changing scenes. So let's go try that out. Oh no, nothing enters enter door. I got to do that still. So we need a region on the door itself. Area 2D. Put this over here. We could actually just give the... Yeah, I'm just going to do it this way for now. Let's not think about it too hard. Collision shape 2D. Rectangle. Actually, I want it to be just the bottom part, right? I think you should be landed when you're here. Yeah, there. All right, so this is door region. That's in the architect realm. Area 2D door region. Come on, you can do it. Good job. On body entered. Why is that not a thing? Oh, it's just body entered? On door region body entered. Private void that. So I think, I forgot what we pass in here. A node 2D. Yeah, there we go. Just copy this. So if it's a character, then we entered door. Public event action. That comes from system. Now the platforming game listens for that. Architect realm. Okay. That's going to do player.enter door. And that's it. Let's go try that. All right, so you fall. I should make sure you're grounded when we do it. Otherwise, it's going to mess up. Okay, that looks bad. You can still control the character during it. That's a problem. So we got to stop you from controlling the character, and we need to make sure that you were grounded when you entered it. So this on its own does not know enough to do this. We need like an is grounded here. We'll make this public for now. So that'll make sure we're grounded. Then we need to stop them from walking. We have characters getting up. What is this? This is just like stop you from moving. All right, so we should rename this to like prevent movement. Or prevent movement. And in enter door, we'll just set this to true. When you're done entering, you're not going to be a platformer character anymore, right? Yeah. Okay. What's this? Oh, that's fine. Okay, so now instead of playing the diamond sound, yeah, let's go find where I put that. Yeah, instead of playing the diamond sound, we need to transition you to a different scene altogether. So I guess let's have a, like, entered architect, like, office. Yeah, sure. Cool. Now the platformer game listens to that. Player dot entered architect equals on player enter architect office. This is just going to change scenes. It's probably going to go up to the main scene and then instantiate something new, right? Yeah, we have platformer game in there. So we'll probably delete that entirely. So we need a new scene, which is the architect's office. Architect office. This probably shouldn't be in the platformer anymore. Neither maybe should the architect realm. I don't know. That one's tough. Yeah, this is not a sub game. Let's put architect realm. Yeah. I create a database snapshot because I'm me. Great. Oh man. Well, I think these things are true you live and learn moments. Like, as will help you in the future, and hopefully you didn't lose too much now. I actually had something happen to me pretty recently. I got a check for about $40, and I used a mobile deposit for my bank, and that's it. I saved the check for like a week, and then I just threw it out because I was like, okay, probably everything worked, right? I just got a physical mailing saying that your check image was bad, and it showed me like a perfect image of the check. I could read everything on it, so I don't know what was bad about it. But it's like, yeah, well, we took your money now. So I called up my bank and I asked, what could I do about this? Like, what happens in this situation? And they're like, well, you have to reach out to the person who sent you the check, and maybe don't throw out your checks so soon. So I learned possibly a $40 lesson. I reached out to the person who sent me the check. Maybe they'll send me another one. Otherwise, I lost $40. But they said to keep it for 30 days. I didn't know that's how long you were supposed to keep them for. Better to learn it on a $40 check than some gigantic check. Not that I get gigantic checks. And hopefully I eventually get the money. Okay, so yeah, let's save it here. Architect office. So let's just put something in the background here. It could just be anything. It could even be, what's that thing called? This. We could just drag this here. So this looks terrible, but this will at least show you that we transitioned scenes correctly. And we'll just call this delete me. Hey, Brainoid, it's going pretty well. Having fun working on the new game. How's everything going with you? All right, so main, we got to have the game node holder, node 2D game or sub game node. So we put that there, get that. Go into here. Sub game node. Good. So at some point, the platformer game is going to emit an entered architect office. We don't have this yet. Player entered architect office. Yeah, there we go. And what am I missing now? Oh, system. Then over here, we just need to transition scenes. I'd like to do this now, but I should really take a break. So this is going to instantiate a new node, which we're then going to add here. sub game node, add child office. Yeah, I'd love to get this done. All right, I won't have the time. All right, I'll be back in a bit. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello again. Hey, Lewissoft. Hey, Reformulate. Close the game. Okay, so we've got to instantiate the office. As far as where we put this, I guess it doesn't really matter. So now this is just going to be a blank node. Let's go try it out. Just expected. Mike announced he's killing Ludum Dare in 2028. But really? I mean, I guess anyone else can just take up the helm and say, hey, we're doing game jams again. Whoop, what just happened? Something very weird just happened. I think I accidentally... Okay, I think a whole bunch of things... Let me watch the VOD for that. What did I just do? What in the world? I don't know what happened there. Huh, it's not a problem now. All right, we got to go over to here. Okay, there are a bunch of problems with that. And it's not changing scenes either. And the animation never completes. Huh. Hey, Leapy Girl, if I play Skeleseller, can anyone see how many hours I spent on it? It is dependent on your Steam settings. So if your profile is public and you make that information public, I think you can. But otherwise, only you would be able to see it. I do not know how to set that up, so you'll have to Google it or something, but there is definitely a setting for it. Created our own Game Jam website last year. Already did 3 editions. Hopefully we can convince people to join our jam before LD dies. Sad to see it go. Yeah. Yeah, I remember you talking about this. Yeah. I think, I don't know, there are certain like community fixtures where if I think they were removed, it would be a shame for the community, although anyone could pick up the slack and do it themselves. But they might not ever reach the same level of momentum they had before. Like Advent of Code is another one of those things where that cannot be easy to set up. That's not just like pick a theme, which I'm probably oversimplifying what Ludum Dare takes to run. I don't actually know what it takes to run. But like Advent of Code, they've got to come up with puzzles, test them, probably try them out with different programmers. Nobody has to know I already spent too many hours. Well, at least, I mean, whenever it's an idle game, at least people just assume that you just left it running or something. Okay, so when entering the door, we need to like take control of the character for you. You may enter the region from a jump, in which case nothing will happen. And if you enter it at a walking pace, it will look like it enters the door without being aligned. You could just move the collision zone for that and just keep checking to see if you're still in this thing. Although what's weird to me is it didn't do this. I don't know why it didn't. Oh, we never removed the platformer game. That's probably why. Platformer, where's the platformer game? Here it is. We should save this off. Actually, this one is nullable. And then down here, we free this and then set it to null. There we go. It's not only a website, it's more than that. What else is it? I'm honestly just in the dark about this. I don't know. I gotta start the character in a better spot if we're gonna do this, because I don't want to keep navigating over here. Oh, nice. It worked this time. Okay, so we just got to fix the movement, and we also got to change it so that you can just start there immediately. Where did I put that? Oh, I had to press the button. All right, so maybe we don't set your animation so you can just walk over there. How about this? Let's do some like bool skip to the good part equals true. If skip to the good part, then let's not set the animation. And let's set your position to, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like here pretty much, right? So that jump right there was that position. It is 2220, 475. 2220, 475. 475. Okay, let's try that. Oh, building the community. Oh, what I meant is what's involved in running a... Why is that happening? Running a single event. Why is that happening? Something bizarre is going on there. And it's when I toggle the mute. Yeah, very weird. Maybe if I don't do anything that it would still happen though, and that this isn't related to toggling mute at all. No, it's just pressing escape to die. Oh my god, oh, I know why. Oh, right, of course. Because pressing escape is UI cancel, which is what puts me in the architect's realm. Yeah, so it's put me in the middle of nowhere, right? It's problematic. I guess we want to set their global position, not their local position. Oh, this is of the game. Whoops. That's the real problem. Equals player position. This will be relative to the player node. Okay, yeah, maybe this will work. I think it tried to do it, but I think it put me through the platform. Oh, because I'm probably doing it where the center of the character is. If I just put them higher up, like 400, it should be fine, I think. Let's try that. Yep, perfect. Okay, so now we can just make it over to the door and then just try to walk in, and it puts us in the next game. So how we can kind of cheat this a little bit is just set the position of the door collider to be like a tiny sliver of the door. So you kind of have to be in the middle of it. I don't know for sure that that's going to work. But there's another problem, which is that the architect realm has this, which is on body entered. Is there another thing here for like if the body is still there? We could just keep track of it, I guess. Yeah, we could just keep track of it. Okay, let's do that. Pool is colliding with door equals false. Perfect. So now we need body exited. And then duplicate this. So if body is platformer character, is climbing door equals false. Is climbing door equals true. Delete all of this stuff. And then the architect realm has the player node. It does not keep track of the player. We should probably store the player. Platformer character player. Player equals player. And then we make a physics process, which checks if you're colliding with the door and the player is grounded, then call enter door. And at that point, this region can just cease to exist. Door region. Oh, we don't have the door region anymore. I mean, we could just get it again. Oh, I should save that off. Oh, no. How did I... Yep, there we go. Collidable? Collision layer? We could change that. Yeah, we can set its collision mask to 0. I don't know if that's a smart thing to do. And then just set is colliding with door equal false. Alternatively, we could just free the whole thing. So the region ceases to exist. I think probably just setting its collision to 0 is fine. All right, let's get the door region here. Private area, 2D door region. Nice. Then do one of these. And one of these. Okay, let's try that. That should fix a couple of those problems. Let's also stop the music by default. How do we do that? Toggle audio. Yeah, I'll just use a main for now. So set bus mute to true. Because it's kind of annoying to have to keep muting the music. And we'll eventually have volume controls and it'll remember what you have set, but we don't have those yet. So we try jumping into the door and yeah, it just enters. That's pretty good. Now we just got to try that again and again and again. So what happens if you, what happens if you walk into it from the side here? Yeah, it looks like you're entering it a little bit too soon, maybe. Because it's really where your foot is. We could just make a collider on the player that is smaller than what it is. Smaller than what the current one is. Because if you land on it, it looks totally fine. Yeah. All right, so where's the platformer character? Oh, they don't exist. This has a collision shape. Can we add another area 2D here, like door collider? We can. Door collider. I mean, the other thing we could do is just make it so that it makes your character walk into where the door is. I just don't have an easy way of doing that right now, and I think this would be a lot easier to set up. So let's just do it this way for now. I think a lot of this game's philosophy should be just cut corners where we can, because otherwise we'll be making each individual game for like months. So if we just put this here, then it should be fine. So now what do? We need another layer. We have world and character. We need some like, I don't know, I'll just call this door activator. I don't have a better idea for that. All right, so collision, you were in the door activator layer and you collide with, I don't know, maybe like a door layer too. There. It's a door activator and door. Great. Now the architect realm has a door. So we give this the opposite. This is a door, and it collides with that. That also has to cause us to change this code. Enter door. Here it is. Out of scope solution, really? Where is this thing? There it is. Yeah. So this checks to see if it's a platformer character. It would not be anymore. It would be a... Its parent would be a platformer character, though. That should do it. A 1 weekend game jam challenge. The last game jam I did is where I made Jump Royale. And I like Jump Royale. It's still something we use on the stream a lot. And I like some of the ideas behind game jams. Here's my own like personal hang up, I guess, is that I am usually very focused on a single project at any given time. And to pull myself away for even like a couple of days, I just find very hard to do. So the other thing about game jams, the appeal for me at least, is to try new things and kind of take a break. I put this in quotes because it's still kind of work. But Stuck in a Broken Tutorial is just a million new things. It builds to a greater game that's better than the sum of its parts, hopefully. So that's like even less of a reason for me to want to do a game jam, I think. But yeah, Jump Royale we're using on the stream. the hackathon that we did, I'm still using my voice controlled stream stuff, and I generally like that when it's not totally breaking the captions. So good stuff has come out of it. I'm not too motivated to do it. If you can make games, game jams are crunch and exposure, right? The crunch isn't inherent to game jams, I would say. Plus, there's some longer game jams. But the exposure, yeah, I guess it all depends on how good the game is. I think there are a lot of game jam games that have turned into real games, and they probably develop their audience through some of these larger creators playing a bunch of game jam games at once. But I don't think that's really too different from the exposure you'd get if people just played the game you were making anyway, except for the timeline. Game jam is typically like a week or less. All right, so this might work, but this is pretty hacky. So let's try it out. That is not working. I wonder if this code is getting hit. I'll put a breakpoint here. It's not getting hit at all. That's weird. That's very weird. Door collider. Door activator and door. And the door is the flip of that, yeah, which is correct. Monitoring is on. Has a collision shape here. Hey, Sphere for you. Thank you for the raid. This is actually good timing. I'm not just about to end. So welcome in, everyone. Hey, Alcris. Have you seen my new game? Should I give you the quick demo? Ah, you're ending early. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you have to run, but thank you for the raid. Hope you're doing well. I'm trying to solve a very small problem here. I don't know what's going wrong with this. Heard that it existed, didn't see anything about it. Okay, here, let me show you a quick rundown by playing the entire game that we have so far. So I started designing this last week, but we started coding it this week. Only got the game you released, Skeleseller? Yeah. So this is the new one. Let's turn audio on. Okay, so this is called Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. You will start and you'll be on a title screen and then you go into this game. And there won't be any explanation as to what this game is, basically. So we see press A to jump. So we're jumping around. Press A in the air to double jump. So far, so good, right? Press R to dash. And then you get over here. It says try to collect the diamonds in one go. Now you're in this new realm. And you find this door. And you have to go inside, but you can't yet because I haven't finished this. But anyway, that's where we are. So that's the whole Stuck in a Broken Tutorial part, is the game try to get you to jump over this thing, but you end up crashing through the world and into this new place. It's looking good. Thanks. Yeah, so I got to figure out why the collider's not working here. I also advanced through one other tiny little bit there that was actually pretty important. I'll show this really fast. So we'll put this back to where they were, which is over here. And I'll change skip to the good part. We'll set this to false for a second. Did I make the character? No, I don't do any artwork myself ever. Is it kind of Metroidvania to get back up? No, so from there, you're going to meet the architect, and the architect does not want you to be there and is going to teleport you into this game. So you will not go back to this platformer the same way. You'll never advance beyond that. That was it. That was like the purpose that it served. And now you'll be in a farming game and it'll be like, hi, I heard you got this new farm from your grandfather. Like, you should probably plant some crops. And you'll be like, what? Like, what happened to the platformer? What am I doing? And yeah, that's how the game will progress. But yeah, the character is looking really good. I mean, I can't take any credit. Okay, so anyway, the thing I wanted to show though is this. And what happens when you land. So yeah, you land here, slowly get up, and then be like, what world am I in now? And then that's when you'll make it over to the door, which I have not been able to get working yet. So collision is not happening right now, and I gotta figure out why. I'm definitely thinking what? Yeah. So I love the idea of this game, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to make. It's gonna be a lot of hard work. Our demo is pretty much gonna be what you just saw. So like the 1 minute of going through the platformer and then falling down here, going over to here, meeting the architect, getting teleported in the farming game, and then like a little bit more into the farming game. But then that'll kind of be about it. If people think that that's fun or intriguing, then cool. Well, if someone tries to walk below those platforms, will the player see the door at the end? No, they won't. Although you could double jump up here and you'd see it. And you'll see this here too. This is your quick way back up if you fell. So it won't be that hard for you to get to it. Now, if you don't do any of that, if you're just like on the left side of this, you could go underneath all of the platforms, but given that this is here and this is here, it's trying to get you to go up. If you didn't do any of that, then yeah, your last like proof that you should go up there is this. And it would be at this point that you can at least see the platform and be like, oh, okay, I should probably go up here. And then you can see the door. But this world is as big as it's going to get probably. So like there won't be, if you somehow get stuck, exploring the entirety of it will take you an extra 15 seconds. So I'm not very concerned about that. But yeah, if I see people in playtesting and they're like, I don't know where to go, then yeah, we could probably do something. But I want to be careful because this is not supposed to be a game. This is supposed to be the, quote unquote real world. And the architect that you meet is the maker of the games. So we can't just put like diamonds here to get you to go to this section. And we can't put an arrow there because like the architect wouldn't have put an arrow outside their own house, right? Add a sign, find the door. Yeah. So we can't do stuff like that because it would not fit the lore of the game. Surely this would be speedrun. I mean, maybe. I don't think it'd be very fun. I think of it sort of like if you were to speedrun Undertale. I know there were some techniques with speedrunning Undertale, like the note that you would get, but like, I don't think it's a very fun speedrun to watch. Hey, LA. Do we get more platformer ever? Yeah, so when you go to the farming game, you will eventually go to sleep in your house, and you'll have a fever dream that's a combination of this game and the platformer. So, I haven't fully come up with it, but instead of being on rocks for platforms, imagine you're on like peaches or apples or flowers or something, and there are ducks in the background. And so yeah, I had some pretty cool ideas, I think. Numsy, thank you for the resub. It is Crazy Town. Hey, Corpsey. Yeah, so all we need is to figure out what in the world is going on with this collision. And it really shouldn't be that hard. We have a door collider here. Oh, you know what might be going wrong? I don't think we're actually even getting this. Architect realm. The collider here. Yeah, no, we're not. On door region entered or body entered. This is never getting hit. You don't need this. Why isn't it ever being hit though? Let's put skip to the good part back on true. And find out what's happening here. The only thing I can think is that I didn't make the collider big enough. But I don't think that's the problem here. But let's just make this huge and just see what happens. Save and reload. I guess it is possible that it was too small. I just don't think that's likely. No, it's not being hit. What's going on? We have this physics process. I'll just put a breakpoint here. So let's take a look. We have the... Where's the door? Door region. Door region. Yeah, this exists. Also, I didn't realize this, but this is something that Rider adds in for us, which is it automatically puts the current scene whenever you're debugging. So you can tell which scene you're in, which in this case, it's main. and will probably always be main for us. But if you're testing a specific scene, that could be helpful for you. So there's our door region. We have body entered here. So we know that this exists. We know that this is set up, but nothing is colliding with it. It's very likely that I messed this part up. We reparent the whole player. What am I missing? It's monitoring. How did I do the rest of this stuff? This is in character layer, collides with the world. And the world is set up as the world layer collides with the player. Yeah. Man, I don't know. I don't know what I did wrong. It's not disabled or anything. Maybe. Okay, how about this? Let's put visible collision on. Let's find out what does it think is going on here. Player does not collide with door due to layers. I don't think it's a layer problem. Like you can see that little blue rectangle there, and you can see this blue rectangle. Those are the two things that are supposed to collide with one another. But it's not triggering at all. Okay, let's try something else here. Let's set this to character. And now you shouldn't be able to go flush against the walls. No, you still can. I don't know what's going on with this. This is not controlling anything. I guess because this doesn't know that it's... No, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this inherits the collision from the character body that is the player. Huh, maybe that's what's happening. Character body 2D with area 2D underneath. Is this not a thing? Does this ever mention area 2Ds? No. I'm not sure how I'm messing this up. When I was just testing against the player's collision box, everything was fine. I've done so many things with colliders and I haven't ever seen this be a problem. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I didn't turn this stuff off, did I? No, I should set this back to normal. Let's do that. I mean, the other thing I guess we can do, as long as we're just testing stuff, is just set this to whatever and this to whatever. And now let's try. This should break. It is not breaking, I guess, because it's checking this. Man. Oh, hey. No, that's not what we need, right? It's still not happening. It's not even calling that a body entered, though. Oh, because it's not a body. It's another area. Oh, I forgot about this. Okay, there's area entered. That's what I want. How silly of me. Area entered. Area exited. This should be area. Area. All right, that should all be hopefully fine. These are areas. And now how are we looking? So let me delete the stuff that I did that broke this. So this is a door, yes. And this is a door activator, yes. Okay, try and tell me that this is broken. It worked. Okay, so now we just got to pick the right sizes, which is where I wanted this to be really tiny. Well, I guess we can just Command Z, right? No, we can't. No, we can't. All right, so set it there, and then set the door to be, it's already fine. All right, let's try it now. So now you need to be pretty much aligned with the middle of it. So you just walk into the door. Perfect. Yeah, cool. All right, turn off visible collision shapes. No, that took me a long time. So this is done. Perfecto. Now I can go to bed. Nice. Glad you got closure on that. So we should check in what I've done so far. And then we need to plan out this little cutscene that happens. Yeah, and I'll write why we save this off. We save this off just in case you jumped onto the door. It'll only try entering the door after you've landed. Cool. All right, let's stiff everything here. Good, good. This is fine. This is just temporary for now. That's still fine. Prevent movement. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This probably maybe shouldn't be there. Maybe I'll just write a to-do delete me eventually. This is debug code. Skip to the good part. This is also debug code. I'll write this on my to-do list. Delete the to-dos. Maybe consider adding contextual cheats though. Like we can open a menu. That would probably be pretty good. Yeah, that would put you into or like beyond the big fall or right next to the office door. You have revenue reveal? I only talked about it on day one. I don't plan on ever looking at it again. Well, I mean, I guess I'm going to find out eventually when I look at my bank account. But yeah, it was a mistake for me to even talk about it on day one. I just don't want to focus on the money that a game makes. I made the game because I want people to have fun. It happens to also be a business. I obviously was trying to make money. It's just not healthy for me to think about it. So skip to the good part, true. Let's turn this off. Or maybe only if you did this by pressing the button. Isn't the button up here? Yeah. Yeah, let's build this into here. So private bool, skip to the good part. And this will say skip to the good part equals true. And we will delete it from here. What happened to the other game? It's done. I've got the command about it there. I'm still playing it a couple times a week. Nice. Yeah, I'm glad people are having fun. I'm still seeing some people make YouTube videos. I'm back to watching them again. There was a time when I was just like too overwhelmed to even enjoy watching people play the game. People are asking about revenue in so many channels when there were almost no questions before. Yeah. Yeah, I will say I liked the idea of Cakes doing a revenue reveal, and I was like, oh, I like the transparency. I'll do that too. And then I was like, whoa, this is not me focusing on the right thing. It'd almost be like, okay, so the transparency part I had no problem with originally. It's almost like though, if someone said like, how many times were you insulted in the last week? It's like the transparency isn't the issue here. It's I'm focusing on something that's negative for me. And that's how I feel, at least when it comes to sales. It's not that sales might be bad or anything. It's just I don't feel like there's a point fixating on the monetary income. And I know that's not necessarily what other people are looking for. I'm just saying it is not helpful for me to look into that stuff. So I'm not going to do it. All right, this is platformer character. We go into game now. So I already looked at most of this. Looks good, cool. What's next? This is platformer game. We modulate the character out. That's fine. Enter door. Looks good. Cool. Yeah, this is all fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Now we're going to start to get into territory where I did not want to check this in. Yeah, this stuff. So I want all of these. I want all of these changes. And that's it. Yeah, Leon, do you consider to use AI agent to move things faster? Yeah, I probably will use more AI at some point. I don't know what it is. Like, I still enjoy coding. I will, like I said, I will probably use AI. Maybe I'll do some of it off stream or something. I don't plan on hiding that I'm using it. I just, while I'm streaming, I feel like I should be more active about the things that I'm doing. So what do we do here? We added in the door code, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, add or like allow entering the door to the office. It just enters a placeholder scene for now. So if I start up the game right now before I check in, what are we looking at? We're gonna be like right next to where the jump is. This is not where we should be. So we should set the player back to where they should be in the world, which is here. There. And let's make sure that took. Yes. So now if we start it again. So now the sound is off by default. We can turn it on. We can go through this. We can collect all the diamonds and stuff. There's a couple over here. A little secret for players who want to explore. 100% diamond run. There's also some diamonds over here. And that note is going to stay in the game, by the way. That's not actually a note to myself. It's a joke for the player. There aren't any in this pit, right? No. I feel like her character should be affected by gravity a little bit more so they can get back to the ground. Wait a second. First of all, the music stopped. That's a problem. Second, I landed on it, but it didn't actually work. Well, let's check this in anyway. I can still fix these things later. So yeah, the music stopping is a problem. The music shouldn't stop, which means when you enter the office, we either need to reparent the music player or we need main to be handling that music for us. And what's the other problem? You can't land on the door to enter it. Why can't you? I specifically coded that, right? So we just land on it. No, it entered it there. Maybe it's because I was moving? I don't think I was lined up. Let's just watch the VOD. Yeah, I don't think I was lined up. It's a very small collision box. Okay. So we have two options. Option one, have main own the music. Option two, reparent the music player to the new scene. Anything about music? Howdy do. I think reparenting a music player is kind of weird, especially because the thing setting up the new scene is main, right? So it'd need to be aware of a music player within this. I don't think that's the way to go about doing this. Oh, he's gone again. Now it's just one atom instead of recursive atoms. Alternatively, we just don't queue free the old scene. Don't free the old scene. Let me think about this. The old scene has no real reason to exist still in memory. Yeah, we could just make it invisible. Maybe that's the easiest thing for right now. We don't free the platformer game since it's still playing music. I don't know if I like that. Yeah, I don't know if I like that. What's going to happen in this next scene? We're going to eventually probably stop the music. I mean, that'll be freeing the platformer game. We can do that whenever we want to. But this idea that main is controlling us going into the next game seems like a bad idea. Seems like maybe the platformer game should own the office in this case. Yeah, probably. Like we have the architect realm here. We could just swap out the realm for the office. Okay, I think that's smarter. Have the platformer own the office. It should free the realm. Well, it doesn't even need to free the realm. We could just put this in another spot if we wanted to. But yeah, that doesn't really matter. Okay, so then this isn't needed here. So doesn't this mean that something here is going to go unused? Yeah, like this. Which means the platformer game isn't needed like this anymore. We can just do var and now delete this. Subgame node used? No. It'll probably be used eventually though. We'll just keep that there. Platformer game. So there's some event here that's no longer needed. Yep, there it is. Entered architect office. Entered architect office. And we just put this code here now. And the node we added to is going to be the architect realm node. We just fetch this. It only has one child. We should just delete the child. All right, I'm going to do this in a cheapo way for now. Get children. Wait, no, we don't need to do that. We can just do get child 0, right? Yeah, and then queue free. And then add in the new office. And that should be that. Let's try it out. So we need to have audio for this. I'm waiting for something that's never going to happen. What went wrong? Did this ever get hit? Probably. Let's just put a breakpoint there. Yeah, it got hit. Okay, so then what? Now we get the parent. That should exist, right? Yes. Then we free its only child. Get children. As 4 children? Excuse me? Well, that explains that. How does it have 4 children? I only ever add the realm. Are we adding like 4 realms here? That's strange. Oops. I want to do that. Now it's got 6 children? 0.name. What is this? Architect realm. Okay. That's correct. Now we have a node 2D. Oh, are these Are these effects or something? It's not giving me information that... What is this? It's got a player in here. A node duty with 5 children. Player node, player fall position. This is another realm. There are multiple architect realms in here. All of these are architect realms? We're just adding like a million architect realms? Oh no. Oh no. All right, how'd that happen? That means that this code is getting hit multiple times. So I press the button once. How many times does this happen? There's 1 time. There are 2 times. There's 3 times. Okay, well, there's the problem. Did not know that was happening. This is all because I'm cheating, by the way. If I weren't cheating at this, we'd only have it happen once. It says if it is action just pressed, UI cancel, create architect realm. There's just pressed in here, though. That should only happen once. Oh, we never mark it as handled? Whoops. Get viewport, set input as handled. Okay, my bad. Well, maybe it's not my bad. I don't actually know if we're doing that right or not. Well, let's try now. So now we press the button. And now how many things do we have in here? Still several? What? Does this not work how I expect? Returns true when the user has started pressing the action event. It only return true on the frame or tick that the user has pressed it down. Well, what am I missing? Yeah, I don't think this is needed. I don't exactly get this, though. Let's just print this out. Creating the realm. We only have one, maybe a multiple platformer games? I don't think that could be possible. Yeah, it creates like 5 of them at once. What? I don't understand how that could happen. Our input map only has one thing for UI cancel, right? Yeah, joypad button. Well, I'm not pressing any of their buttons anyway. But how? Maybe based on the FPS? It says right here, though, that that shouldn't be the case. What is it going to fix that? Hang on, I like messed this up. There we go. Yeah. It says returns true when the user has started pressing the action event in the current frame or physics tick. It's not every frame that it's pressed. What is... Oh, maybe I have repeat on? Is that a thing? I don't think that's a thing. No, that's not a thing. Mark is handled before performing the action. I don't even think marking it as handled is needed, though. Like, this should just be automatic. Do I have some other input here? No. Like, even if I just delete this, this should never print multiple times. Let's find out. Input, here we go. Is action just pressed? Turns true if the user's just started pressing it. The same thing happened if you press escape. Let's find out. It could be a controller problem, but yeah. Let's see. So I press escape. It just does it once. Wait a second. I think escape is bound to 2 different things, which is why that probably doesn't happen there. When you check for is true in all of the checks. I mean, the only thing I can think is I put by event here and I do comma at event. But that doesn't make sense to me why that would be needed. That somehow fixed this? What? What? This is a digital button that I'm pressing. I have analog buttons, but I'm just not pressing one of those. But yeah, this fixed it somehow. If this were an analog button, I would understand. Oh wait, no, this controller doesn't have analog buttons. Right? The switch, what is this? A Switch 1 Pro controller? I don't think there's analog buttons on this at all. Switch 1 Pro controller, analog buttons. Yeah, I think they're all digital. Well, except for the sticks. But I think all the buttons are digital. So I'm not even sure how this could have happened. Well, okay, there is one other way, maybe, but then this wouldn't have fixed it, which is that my controller is actuating multiple times despite being digital. Like I'm pressing it right at the actuation point or something, but yeah, it's just the just press part should stop that from happening, I think, Kevin. Yeah, well, whatever. If this fixes it, then this fixes it. So then I guess we need to change every is action just pressed into that. Probably need to change every is action just pressed into this. I don't know why, though. Without that, what is this? Platformer game? Input would trigger multiple times on the same, on a single digital button press. All right, well, did this fix my problem that I had? Like, what was the problem that I had? The music didn't stop or something? I don't even remember what the problem was. Yeah, there's just one now. No, that's not good. Platformer character was disposed? Why is anything being disposed? What, did I free something? I might have. Yeah, I freed the architect realm, which had the player. Okay, I need to take the player out of there. Player dot reparent office. Not sure how well supported it is versus a PlayStation controller. It's not too bad usually. Like, we got it working for Skelesaller. Player is an invalid root node path. Caches will not be built. Please check the root node assignment. What? Oh, because it hasn't been added? Oh, yeah. That's what I got to do. All right, that should fix all of that. Can you print the event at the start of events? We can do the type. Yeah, sure. Print event as text. All right, so I'm going to press the button. Oh, yeah, it's spamming with events. It's a proper, like improperly configured dead zone, probably. I don't even know if there's a way I could fix this as a human right now, like by just moving the sticks. I'd have to find exactly where the dead zone is and like keep it there. But yeah, that's probably the issue. You can briefly see a button show up when I press something, but it just spams itself right off the screen. All right, let's pause it as soon as I press a button. It's just the one button. Huh. How well does it work in development on a Mac M1 Air? I do not have a portable Mac. I'm on a Mac Studio, but I assume it works pretty well. There you go. But is this the problem? I mean, this still doesn't really make sense, right? That's the whole point of is input just pressed. I guess it is the dead zone thing though. Man, this is something wild to figure out. So this is apparently due to my sucky dead zone on a controller. It's better to experience this than have a player experience this like 2 months from now and not have any idea what's going on. Yeah. Okay, I gotta take a break. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello again. Close the game. Oh my God, I think I understand something now. Close the game. When I try turning off my computer or putting it to sleep, I mean, it keeps like waking from sleep because I think this is just sending inputs constantly. So I have to unplug the controller. Interesting. I think that having Steam open might fix that because Steam has some like dead zone prevention. I don't know. Computer's dreaming. Computer's trying to dream, waking up from a nightmare. All right, so what was any of this for? Oh, right, getting the music to continue playing. And we did that, right? Let me just try this one more time because I don't remember what I'm doing anymore. I'm just going to go through the whole thing. Should probably have her face right instead of left. That might have worked, but I don't see anything. And I think we're supposed to see something there. Yeah, we should. It's because the camera's in the wrong position. Probably. Any reason we'd be different direct plugged versus Bluetooth? I don't know how to use this via Bluetooth on my Mac. Maybe it would just work as a regular device. Oh, maybe it's the Switch 2 Pro controller that never worked. Yeah, I don't know if I've even tried with this one. But the Switch 2 Pro controller, you needed some like GitHub page open while trying to use the controller. And even then, it would only work in some programs. I guess Nintendo just doesn't want to play nice with other platforms sometimes. So yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think the camera's off. We also need some kind of like door entering sound. Play sound on entering the door. So this is good. So player.reparent and then camera.position equals player.position. Although it should be following the player no matter what. I guess I guess it is doing that. And I guess that's the problem. We need to freeze the camera. Camera is frozen is true. Yeah, so wherever they were originally, we set it to that. Let's try that again. Top round button and connect it on Bluetooth. Use the play on Luna. Top round button. Oh, that. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Let me try that in a sec. Hang on. Still isn't working. I think we need to set the camera back to 0, 0. Still trying to figure this out. One of the rare breeds that doesn't utilize AI a lot. I see autocomplete but never prompts. I don't tend to, but I'm probably going to more for this project. What is going on? It should be showing me this. And if the camera's at 0, 0 and this is in the right spot, maybe this isn't in the right spot. I put this inside of this architect realm parent, which is located where? 0, 0. Oh, which means that we should be seeing the office inside of that and we're not? What happens if I instantiate this in there? Office. Yeah, we should be seeing that. So what's going wrong here? Add child office. I don't see a problem. Also, we got to make a note out of this. Private node 2D architect realm parent. Why is this? Oh, right, because I need to search for that. All right, I want this in ready. Then anywhere that we were doing this should be replaced with this. And then setting this equal to a node is no longer needed. But this didn't fix anything. This was me refactoring. Yeah, I don't know how much we're going to dabble with 3D in this game. I'm not really planning on it right now. Days filled with talking to robots. Seems like yours is the opposite. I mean, I don't have anyone mandating that I use AI either. My brain is messed up right now. Some people, either through work or through school or whatever it is, you have to use AI, or at least you're being told to use it. So if you're not being told to use it, you could always just choose not to. I think that's going to become less and less practical as AI gets better. Like, imagine if I were making this game and it takes me, whatever, a year. But if I used AI, it might take me a month. Like, that'd be such a huge difference that it'd almost be irresponsible not to use it at that point, at least in terms of productivity. I get that there are more issues than just productivity. All right, I'm still not certain here why this is not showing me the office. I know the office is just a random graphic right now, but I should still see it. And it should be at 0, 0. But it's not showing up here. Yeah, I can't control the character. Hmm. All right, let's set a breakpoint here. Let's find out where this thing is. Inspect where it is in the remote. Yeah, I was gonna just look in the debugger and find out what's going on. So we drop into here, creates the office. Oh, we reparented the player to the office. That I guess should be the case. Office.position, office.global position. Its global position is in the middle of nowhere? The realm parent's position is in the middle of nowhere? What? Position is 0, 0. Oh, whoops. Okay. I know what I did. I create the architect realm in the middle of nowhere, huh? But I moved the parent. Oh, that's not supposed to be the case. This should have been this. Yeah, that might break things. Oh man. Moss color. Yeah. I think part of it's just gaining some experience too with any of the tools that you have. Okay, that's what I expected to have happen, and that's what's happening now. So that's fine, but we're still in the platformer game, and that's kind of an issue. I think we should put this back to where it was. Like this is just off in some other part of the world. Yeah, so setting this to 0 is a bad idea. We should just put the office global position equals architect realm parent dot get child 0 dot global position. So this is the realm itself. So we want to free the realm, get its position. I guess do this at the end. It doesn't really matter. And this is a node 2D. We could just save this off too. All right, now don't change the camera position, but do freeze the camera. Oh man, okay, this is a mess. This is a total mess. What am I doing wrong? Hey Maya, thanks for the raid. Welcome in. Good to see you again. Hi everybody. Hope your stream is good. Those who have not been following Maya. I think, are you still doing your work stuff mostly on stream? It's fun. How are you? I'm doing well. I started a new game. We launched Skeleseller about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, 3 weeks ago, I think. Running a Game Boy emulator. Oh, cool. Oh God, I can picture who someone's working on not an emulator exactly, but like a Game Boy Color animation on her stream. Oh my God, I can picture her face. I cannot picture her name. I think it started with a Z. God. Hey, Lillian. Anyway, I'll show this game in just a sec. Yeah, I think we need to restructure this. Probably need to restructure how we set up these scenes so that this is still tenable. No, it wasn't Zorkenheimer. Oh god, this is gonna kill me. I don't even know how to give more information. Anyway, this is stuck in a broken tutorial. I'm gonna try not to give a ton of intros to this as we go on, chat, but for Maya's viewers. So it starts as a platformer, but this is not the game. This is a broken tutorial that you're in that kind of teaches you how to play this game. So you make it through and you get to this point where it's like, oh yeah, collect all the diamonds now, right? So you try and you fall through the world. And you land and you're a little bit hurt now. Some spooky music playing. You jump your way over to this door. And then walk in, and that's as far as we've gotten. But you're going to meet the architect, and they will teleport you into a farming game. And that'll be the start of the game. Hey, Sarah, it's going pretty well. I got to figure out what I want to do with this. So I wanted the platformer game to own the office. Perhaps we should just have the office in some other part of the world and move the camera there immediately. Yeah, I think that probably makes the most sense. Now we don't need to do anything special here. I mean, the office is going to be its entire whole scene. Let's keep reparenting stuff here. This does seem hacky. All right, let's try it. Sure. Let's put this in right there. Drop it down. Make it invisible. Although we won't, I guess we'll have paused execution of this. Never seen a side platform build? Well, this is all like, I guess this is all part of the main game at least. So in my mind, I'm building the main game. It's just the game is a collection of other games. Good evening, Katie. Wow, sorry for the megaphone. For my ears no longer working? Yeah, you better be. All right, so the problem is you're like down here in the world, and then we create this thing up here. Oh, wait, that is the problem, isn't it? No, we set this to the realms position. The realms position, though, is off to the side. Okay, yeah, so we need to set this to the player's position. Ah, therein lies the problem, and that should be the solution, I think. I just had to think about it for longer. Yeah, I gotta talk like this. Okay, let's see if this is working. Yes, nice. Okay, so this is just our placeholder thing. I just slammed a graphic into the scene. But yeah, that's what we have here. This will eventually look like an office, probably. So I think we've hit my like productivity limit for intense stuff. So I'm going to switch to some less intense stuff. By the way, the plan for this week, so today is maybe like 1 more hour, maybe. Tomorrow is going to be a half day of maybe working toward the farming game, maybe the architect cutscene. Maybe the start of the farming game. And then Friday is going to be a music stream. I mentioned this already. I want to compose all of the music for this game. Right now, what we're using is placeholder music. And it's not bad. In fact, it might actually just be fine to use this stuff. I paid for it, so like I can use it. But still, I'd like to make all the music. And I think we're going to need to put in a lot of time if we're going to do that, because it took me a long time to make the other music. So I want to spend like 1 full day per week just making music. Music stream. Yeah, you say yes now, but wait until it's every Friday and everyone's like, oh, this again. Current music is great. Reminds me of again. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I'm not super happy with the harmonies in some parts. And I don't want to like just change someone else's music. I'd rather make it from scratch. So is there a whole movement engine? Like, do you have to build what animations you want with what actions? For example, the jumps, or is that just part of the character? So there are a couple things going on here. One is there are sprite sheets like this. So this is the start of climbing a ladder. Nusiran, thanks for resubbing. Happy 1/6 of a year. So the way you would play this out is you play this frame, then this frame, then this frame, and then you switch to another animation. The way that this works in Godot is you have an animation player. So we have all the individual animations here. So look at the land animation, for example. This looks like what you'd expect. We have some frames of the character landing. And then we have whatever, the idle animation. They're just standing around. And then we have an animation tree, which looks very, very scary, that will control all of those transitions between them. So for example, when you go from idle to jumping, you might have a certain thing that plays out. We don't in that case. But for walking, we do have an intermediate animation of idle to walk. And from like half of these things, you can jump. From half of the jumping ones, you can fall. So there's a whole lot going on here. I can't every day be Friday. No, people will not be saying that. So is that part of the purchase, or do you have to make some of them? That was all part of the purchase. As in, I'll show you what I got. I got all of these. So like Aerial Dash comes with the sprite sheets for this. So there's the effect without the illusion, there are the dash things, and then you just plug them into your game if you want. Is it something you can set up with code? It is something you can set up with code. I doubt it's easier to set it up with code. Because this alone is already pretty hard to parse, but like you can click any state and you can see all the entrances and exits to this state. If you're doing this through code, it'd just be probably a giant mess. I mean, it's already a giant mess here, but at least you can kind of make sense of it. I was thinking you make with code, then look at it here. Yeah, I guess you could. You could probably export it to a T-Res file or something, right? How do people make these and sell them for so cheap? I mean, it's the same with making games and selling it for cheap. Like, Skeleseller took 2 years of full-time work, and the current price is $8. Like, an asset pack is probably... This was $15. It was twice the cost of Skeleseller for one character. And it probably didn't take them 2 years of full-time work. I'm not saying it's bad. It's great, this artwork. I'm just saying it did not take nearly as long. It's just, what is the market like for some of this stuff? Yeah, it's a ton of work. If you look at some of these, they have goals on itch of how much they're trying to make. I don't know if this is one of them that has it. But every once in a while, you'll find something. Yeah, here. Like, they made $53,000 off of this artwork. Now, granted, they made a lot of asset packs. This might have actually been 2 years of work. I don't know. And then, yeah, people like me will buy them and we'll make games with them. So I've spent a bunch of money on assets so far, and we've got maybe like 20 minutes worth of gameplay for this game plant. So we'll need more assets. And I think at some point we'll run out of high quality asset packs and we'll need to figure something out. Okay, I still did want to check this in, so let's go do that. So we now have the platformer game own the office. This is part of a different fix. We should just check this in on its own. Fixed issue with input. My controller goes bonkers when I'm not touching it. Even when I'm not touching it. Due to poor dead zones. Which apparently messes up the cheat I added. The one cheat I added. Oh, man. All right, done. What else? Using vector 2 equals Godot vector 2? Oh. Practice as a numerics one. Yeah, all this stuff is fine. So this is now have platformer game own the office. Before this, the music would stop as soon as you entered the door because the scene playing the music would be freed. I think it makes more sense for the platformer game to own the like sub scenes that it creates. At least more than... Why do I not have these things show up? At least more than it makes sense for main to own them. What's harder to make, music or video assets? Music or video assets? I don't know. That's kind of tough. At least when I make music, like the tracks for Skeleseller took me probably like minimally 40 hours per track. That's my guess. I don't know for sure it was about that long. And I ended up making like 90-second tracks, which is why we got to spend a lot of time making music on stream. When I make videos, it's usually like 8 hours of work to every 1 hour, not even 1 hour video. Maybe like, yeah, maybe about 1 hour video. That's probably not fair. Maybe like 30 minutes. I don't know. The ratio seems worse for music. It takes me more hours to make a little bit of music than it takes for me to make video, but I don't make super polished videos. If I did make super polished videos, it'd probably take a lot longer. All right, so that's done. We'll do this one thing. This is pretty easy. We just need a door sound. Let's go find a door sound. There's no door opening though. You're just entering it. So maybe we search for enter, exit. There's game exit. Maybe it's like a wind sound almost, or an evade sound. We could search for that stuff. What's this sound like? No. What about dodge? It might sound. No. That's not bad. Miss evade 02. Yeah, we just quiet it down. Be allowed to modify purchase assets. It all depends on the license. So I need to make sure the license for all the things I buy will allow me to modify them, at least the art assets, because we want the character to have a consistent identity. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, let's put that in the game. Audio, sounds, platformer. All right, so it's 35 miss evade, sound ID, platformer, enter door, sound data, all sound data. Just duplicate this. So volume should be much lower, maybe like 0.6 and 35. Why? How do you get this to actually give you the suggestions? Like, why did that not work originally? Oh, okay. So now we got to go play the sound. That's going to be in platformer game. Player entered architect office. It's actually when you start to enter. So it's more like platformer character. Enter door. Here it is. Audio system, play sound. There we go. Let's try that and just see what that sounds like. So we need the music. Well, we need the audio on. I don't have a way of turning just the music on or off. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not the right music, though. In order to get the right music, I need to actually get to that point. This is why I was saying I need some, like cheat menu that lets me go to specific events in the games. Move that out of the way. This is still so cool. I just absolutely love that opening to the game. Yeah, it's pretty good. I kind of want the fade out to take a little bit longer. We have enter door here. The fade out starts and then it plays out for like half a second. Where's the player? Yeah, you can't do this. That's what it looks like right now. We only have the 2 frames, and this is not meant to be an enter door animation. It's meant to be for climbing a ladder. What if we put this here? I don't know. Maybe that's slightly better. All right. So add the sound, that, and that. Sound upon entering the door. Let's actually look through the changes and just make sure that's all I did. I don't remember doing anything else, so I'd be pretty surprised. And then this is for change, enter, door, animation, timing. Yeah. All right. I want to write all these notes down now. What time is it? 3:30? Yeah. Let's at least get these notes taken care of. Okay. I wonder if I should make a note on just this. Like, I have a bunch of Godot notes already. And normally I'd put this in, I don't know, Godot engine or something. I should probably just make one on animation tree. I need to make better notes. Gotta start somewhere. Any updates on how many copies of Skeleton are sold? I'm not looking into it. And I don't plan to share when I finally am made to know because it enters my bank account. Okay, so this is not really UI. This is animation. So let's put it in here somewhere. Let's just make a new note. Animation tree. Animation tree in Godot can be used to control and transition between animations. But I want to brag. Yeah, sorry for those who have not heard me talk about this. I just don't think it's helpful to focus on. It's certainly not helpful for myself. Like, I don't want to fixate on sales or anything. I think at some point it would be probably worthwhile to try to market Skeleseller more. I just launched the game and then just gave up completely. I haven't emailed anybody new. I haven't talked to press. I haven't run ads. I don't know. I haven't done pretty much anything. But yeah, at some point, maybe I want to breathe some life into it again. I'll probably continue to run sales. Those are pretty easy. And just let Steam do whatever heavy lifting it wants to do. Okay, so as an example scenario, suppose you buy a sprite sheet like this. Let's just get the link to the sprite sheet. Where is that? You have, even if you just want idle and walking animations, well, like the character has an idle animation, they can jump, attack, walk, run, etc. I used a subset of these and ended up with this animation tree. There's no way to zoom out. I really hope they add that. So at best I could like make this take up more space. I don't know why this is way over there. Put it there. Now I can take a picture. All right, everyone make sure you're visible. Say cheese. Smile. This is 700. Cheese. All right, so what are the notes I had? Let's just copy them all, and then I will turn them into properly written and formatted notes. These are different notes. I want to type these out too. But yeah, let's go back to this. So usage with animated sprites. I think it's best to use animated sprite 2D. So IMO, it's best to use animated sprite 2D for very simple scenarios. Four-way walking animations that you switch between from code. When you have more complexity than that, you would use an animation tree with an animation player and a sprite 2D, not an animated sprite 2D. My rationale against using them is that you wouldn't want to confuse someone else in your code base who thinks the animations are coming from animated sprite 2D instead of animation player and animation tree. Subtrees. I wonder if that's a good idea. All right, maybe I should type some like usage tips. If so, cleaning up the trees, you should be able to have subtrees. I haven't done this myself yet. Worth noting for the future. This is pretty nice. To change an animation player's FPS after already laying out the frames, the easiest thing to do is select all of the keyframes, then click Edit Scale Selection. If you have frames laid out every 0.1 seconds, which would be 10 FPS, and want them to be, let's just say, every 0.05 seconds, 20 FPS, you would set a scale factor of 0.5. I think. I'm just going to make sure because I don't want to mess people up. Oh, wait. I did not know you could do that. I always saw this button, which I'm probably covering right now. I can't tell. I always knew this was here, but I didn't know that it produced this other button next to it after you did that. So to full screen any panel, you can just click that and then the button to the left of it. I thought you could only full screen some panels because there's something that shows up here for that. Huh. Interesting. That's probably pretty helpful. Okay, so yeah, I want to test that. I mean, we don't need to persist any of these changes, but let's go into the idle animation, for example. If I click all of these and I click edit and scale selection, it's scale selection ... Now I type 0.5. Yep, that's correct. Okay. Nice, leave your girl. Adam is learning live. This man's got an accurate name. All right, with the animation player open, but the sprite 2D. So, okay, yeah. So this is really, really kind of obnoxious, I think, but it's. And so how to add animations when using animation player and animation tree. This isn't super obvious because the tree sort of fights you as you try changing things. So click the animation tree. In the scene hierarchy. Make sure to select animation at the bottom, which will show you a dummy copy of the animation player. And then click the stop button. Can we just do something like this? Yeah, click the stop button to stop any animations from playing. Then add a new animation. I guess there are two animation things. So this is at the very bottom. Click animation in the animation player and add a new animation. Who's that? Who's Adam Learns Live? Nobody knows. They say he's pretty good at game dev, though. All right, so add a new one. Does this work? Testeroni. Yes, so now it should add it to the real one too, right? Yeah, it did. Then click the sprite 2D that you want to animate. The animation player will remain open in the bottom panel. Now set its texture. Set its texture under animation in the inspector. Set how many rows and columns you have. H frames and V frames. Except for it's backwards, right? Columns and rows. And then click the key icon next to the following and in this order. H frames, V frames, texture. Texture's not capitalized like that. This stuff isn't capitalized like this. Yeah. I'll just delete this. And then frame. Actually, you don't even do that yet. You yeah, set the yeah, I guess you can do this here. So set the why is this tabbed in weirdly? Oh, that's strange. There we go. What is this called? Set the nearest FPS at the bottom of the animation player based on how far apart you want the frames. At 10 FPS, you would set this to 0.1. And then set the, what is this? Animation length at the upper right of the animation player to be the total duration of the animation. If you have 16 frames and want them to run 0.1 seconds apart, you would set this to 1.6 seconds. Oh man, and then click the key next to frame until you have all of your frames in the animation player. And that's it, you're done. Just 14 steps. Honestly, I think that's what it takes. Yeah, so this should be its own like sub thing here. General tips and adding animations when using animation player. Yeah. So this all stays here. And this goes up here. Ooh. All right, general tips, I guess. Animating sprites. All right, delete that. We tried nicely asking the tree. I did not. Do you know what it becomes on December 25th? I'll let you guess. All right, with this selected, set H frames and V frames, then click the length, then this. Yeah, cool. All right, we did all that. If you get this error, so now we need a troubleshooting section. Troubleshooting. All right, index P frame equals 6. I'm just going to copy this. And we don't want these backslashes everywhere. So if you get this error, cool. Where's the rest of that note? Make sure to put the frame at the bottom, yeah. Make sure to put a frame at the bottom of the animation player. Oh, this copied weirdly. I'll just take a picture. I think it's much clearer. Yeah. Should probably take it in context. This needs to be below H frames, V frames, and texture. Or at least H frames and V frames? I don't know. I'm not going to test everything. And maybe texture. I'll just write that. You can drag it to where it should be. You can fix this by dragging it. All right, great. There we go. Time to go to bed. All right, thanks for playing. Hope you had fun. Have a good night, Leap Your Girl. When adding animation tree into the mix, I never figured out how to disable it. Okay, I did end up figuring out how to disable it. So when this happens, transition to next recursive. Yeah, this one's tough. All right, looped transitions. E.g. I mean, technically it includes all this in here too. Then we just delete some backslashes. And maybe we paste this in here too. There we go. All right, so this happens when you have something like this. Animation tree, where are you? Here. Did I save this? Oh God. I did not mean to save any of this. Yeah, whoops. Well, we can just revert the whole thing eventually. So we got to go to the animation tree here. I'm just going to make 2 states. Let's say, what's a good example? Jump and aerial dash. Those are good. So we'll call this jumping and air dash. Oh, it doesn't all fit. Okay, there we go. Now we put transitions between the two. And we just take a picture of that. And note that this can probably happen if you have more than 2 nodes. Well, maybe I'll write that afterward. The problem is that one state, e.g. jumping, has its, or not one state, both states have their conditions met to go to the next state, which would mean that the transitions would never stop. This can happen when you have more than 2 states. As long as there's any infinite loop. A little bit too much fun. Might go back to get gold medals. All right, cool. Yeah, and take care. Okay, so this is done. Oh wait, no, that's different. Oh yeah. Maybe this is actually a different one, the loop transitions. Yeah, I think that's different. I should find out what that means when you have an incorrectly named thing. All right, so to figure out which transition is causing this, you can change the transition from transition advanced mode, copy property, advanced mode to disabled. And if it stops happening, then it was probably that one. Then to fix it, you either need to change your condition. Well, isn't it always pretty much change your condition? Yeah, change your condition or change your code. For example, in the case above, in the picture above, I originally had a condition of is air dashing. I originally had a condition of is air dashing to go to the air dashing state and is jumping to go to the jumping state. To fix this, I change one condition to is air dashing and not is jumping. Is that even what I did? No, other way around, but it doesn't matter. If it failed, figure out why. This is better than that. I mean, it's how to figure it out and then what to do to fix it. Much better run book. This is a sprint book. Flowing state and landing state. So yeah, in another case, I changed the code to prevent both Booleans from being true at the same time. Okay, and then finally this bit. Yeah, wow, this is worth its own note. I mean, look at this already. It's kind of crazy. So animation tree lets you use conditions in a very basic way or expressions in a more advanced way. If using expressions, you have to manifest the variables yourself. They can be private properties in C#, and then only use expressions. As a result, I don't think conditions have much of a purpose. Yeah, cool. It's probably that one. Hey, Crabsoft. All right, well, I'm happy I wrote out those notes. Now I might as well write out these as long as I'm writing notes. I don't know who's ever going to care about this, but people probably will ask me. So I might as well put this in here. Comparison to VS Code. Things I've enjoyed about Rider over VS Code. Godot. Typing out res paths as autocomplete because it's aware of what res represents. Debugging. Conditional breakpoints. Oh yeah, debugging. There's autocomplete and conditional breakpoints, the expression, and the expression evaluator. Conditional breakpoints always seem to work instead of saying you couldn't evaluate the expression. I vaguely remember you not being able to press up and enter in the evaluation expression thing, whatever, in VS Code, but I don't know if that's true. What are the other things that I've been impressed by? Oh no, I forgot to check that in. Whoopsie doodle. Okay, let's go delete this. And then what is my last commit? Diff last commit. Okay, whoops. Yeah, it was made. Yeah, I'm not going to fix this. Let's just check this in. Add missing sound effect. This was for entering the door. I just forgot to add it. Yeah, this is why we shouldn't have all these extra assets here. I really should just delete those. But let's push this now before I forget. Commit contains 2 problems, 2 to-dos. Yeah, I know about those. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. VS Code had some like weird... VS Code had some kind of hallucinations around Godot's vector 2s. I don't know that Rider does this or not. I would do something like some vector dot x minus 1 and get infinity when it clearly was something like 4. I never figured that out, and it was so frustrating. And I don't know that it happens in Rider or not. It might still happen there too. Maybe it's some weird Godot thing. Is there anything else I've done that I've been pretty happy with? I'm not saying I'm upset with a bunch of stuff. I just wonder if there's anything else that stood out to me. Can't think of anything off the top of my head. I think sometimes it's smarter when you are working with closures. So like if I did something like this, animation tree dot animation finished plus equal, let's do something like this, right? Yeah, play step sound or something. Argument lambda expression. Yeah, we need the animation name. Okay, so we can do that. But then if I press enter here, it puts both curly braces on their own lines. I'm having to reformat. I mean, that's stuff's kind of minor. I don't really care about that. Right scale 4 is about the same as infinity. The right scale, numbers don't matter. All right, eventual tasks, demo polish. When the player falls into the architect's realm for the first time, they should face right instead of left. Oh, you can only snooze ads 3 times per stream? I didn't realize that. Hey, Crimson, how goes the new project? It's going well. I'm happy with how it's going. We have gotten to the point where in the game you can get to the architect's office, but then there's nothing in it. So if we turn on the music here, I'm gonna end up doing this demo a whole bunch of times. But still, I kind of want to wrap up the day. So yeah, we have these diamonds you can collect now. It's making a sound. We have all our tutorial stuff. And then you make it over to here. And then that's it. I haven't finished this part. But the music, the audio, the like the falling down thing, all that, working great. How do you track binary assets directly in the repo, or do you use Git LFS? Just directly in the repo for now. Yeah, I think large file storage would probably be a good idea if we had like super large images or textures or something like that. But in general, they're not that large. And I guess I could split them out if I ever need to. So anyway, I'm very happy with that opening. It is looking good. It's feeling good. The platformer mechanics are working pretty well. And that brings us to, where are we in the opening of the game? So yeah, here, you start on the title screen. We technically have that. I'm skipping that. You start a new game. Name the character is not a thing you can do yet. You go from the platforming world. You can jump and double jump. You get to a jump that looks doable. You fall down into a pit. So now we're on this section. So this is all just like the demo of the game. And we've gotten through a lot of these bullet points. So now you should see the architect and they should say, I don't want you here. You shouldn't be here. Maybe you don't belong here. I don't know. I'll write another alternatively here. And then they hit you with a spell. You disappear. Camera lingers on the world for a bit longer. Screen fades out. You come back into the farming game. And that's what we're going to start working on maybe tomorrow. Depends on if we can get through the architect stuff. I actually don't have a character for the architect. Yeah. We got a lot to do. All right, let's go fill out the journal one more time. Will it make a cameo appearance? Yeah, probably. Tomorrow, no longer a music stream. Tomorrow, I don't think was supposed to be the music stream because I think I wanted to devote full days to music. So it'll be Friday. And I don't know exactly what we're going to be doing yet on that stream. It might just be coming up with some musical ideas and not necessarily developing them all that much. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see if I can stomach doing like 6 hours of music a day. All right, you can fall into the architect's realm and enter the office, but then nothing is there. So yeah, tomorrow it's going to be get the office scene working. It should be dimly lit. The architect should say to get out and then zap you with a spell that teleports you away. Fade to black. Fade back into a new game entirely. Oh, you thought today was Thursday? Okay, yeah. Then yes, tomorrow's the music stream. Okay, whew, what a day. What a day. This has been 3 days of coding to get to this point. I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. It's not a super fleshed out game yet. But yeah, it's feeling pretty good. It'll be so cool for me to watch people play test this for the first few times. Just to see like what is their reaction. Do they find this, for example? Note to self, add more diamonds here. Do they like everything that's laid out here? Let me go find someone to raid because otherwise an ad's gonna start. I want to find someone new. Because I've rated the same people over and over. And oops, let's find someone in the same category. English. Okay. Who have we got? Lots of people that I'm following. We never raided them before. Oh, hey, here's someone I never raided. Okay, let's go raid this person. They're working on a Minecraft launcher, apparently. Sounds good to me. Whoops. All right, thank you all for watching. What's the music about? It'll be music for the... Oh, they've disabled raids. What? Wow, that's kind of surprising. Okay, hang on. I gotta find someone else then. I will try not to spend very long on this because I've already spent too long on it. Why are they in the raid viewer if they've disabled raids? Like, why would Twitch show you that they're raid targets? Okay, let's raid. No, this person's streaming in a different language. All right, I'm just gonna end the stream. I'm sorry. I've spent too long. Yeah, music will be for the game. All right, thank you all for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. It'll be a half day. And yeah, I will see you then. Take care.